What's going on? It's Eric Nathey with AboveTheBuzz.com, and today is Thursday, August the 18th, which means we're going to go ahead and get you caught up on what new movies are going to be released this weekend, as well as give you a couple suggestions for what to watch if you plan on staying at home. Now, first, what's going to be released tomorrow, August 19th? We have number 1, Conan the Barbarian, and number 2, Fright Night 3D, number 3, One Day, and number 4, Spy Kids All the Time in the World. Now, as you can tell, you have a lot of different genre choices this weekend, but if you can't find a movie that fits your needs, I would suggest staying in and making it a Denzel Washington weekend. Number 1, I would go with Man on Fire, and this movie was released in 2004 and directed by Tony Scott, and it stars Denzel Washington, Christopher Walken, and Dakota Fanning. Now, this movie is the story of Creasy, an ex-CIA agent who's now located in Mexico City and becomes the bodyguard for Peta and her family. Now, this movie stands out to me on multiple different levels. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But the first thing that really stood out to me was the directing by Tony Scott. He thought outside the box and he did things with exposure and pacing and cutting of the edit that have never been done before. And in doing so, he created a revenge film that has a tension aspect that has never been achieved. Now, number 2 is the connection between Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning is so believable that you feel the love between the two characters, and it makes you feel so much more for what happens to them and when it happens to them. I would suggest that you watch Man on Fire this weekend. And number 2 is Book of Eli. Now, this movie came out in 2010, and it stars Denzel Washington, Gary Oldman, and Mila Kunis. And it's the story of Eli as he makes his journey across the post-apocalyptic world. And when I first heard of this movie's release, I got extremely excited, but it wasn't until after I watched it that I realized how great it actually was. From the mood, the feel, the lighting, the environment, it all blows you away and sucks you in for the entire film. I guarantee that the Book of Eli is going to captivate and entertain you from the very first frame to the very last frame. And I suggest that you watch Book of Eli this weekend. Now, hopefully these movies suggested fill your movie-going appetite. And if you want to watch the trailers to the new movies being released or see more up-to-date info on the reviews of the movies that we suggested, go to AboveTheBuzz.com. And remember to tune in every Thursday to check out what new releases are coming out, as well as get a couple suggestions for if you plan on staying home. Now, this is Eric Nathey with AboveTheBuzz.com, and thank you much for tuning in.